Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tensei Shitara Slime Datta again, episode 9. So yeah, this is probably, I guess technically, not to lie to myself, it's probably not the best episode of the show so far, but it's maybe one of my favorites. I really enjoyed this one personally. I had a lot of fun watching this one. But yeah, either way, I do want to talk a bit about the comments on this show, but I don't want to start off on anything like, I don't know, kind of bummerish to start off. So I'm going to save that until the end, after I talk about the episode and all that. So let's talk about this episode. I really loved it. So starting off, I loved Rimuru going to the room by himself, and his laugh, that laugh killed me when he was about to look at his human form. But he has all of Ifrit's skills, which is kind of OP, but also kind of expected since that's typically how things work. So I wonder, because Veldora was sealed, I guess he doesn't get Veldora's skills. That would make sense. Or maybe he does and he's entirely OP whenever he decides to use them. But either way, so we get kind of confirmation on the gender of Rimuru, and the gender is doll crotch, and he can make himself kind of like a character slider, more or less feminine or masculine in appearance, but basically doll crotch. Also, I think it's good that the series gave specific reasons for the character, because the way Rimuru is, it gave specific reasons that Rimuru wouldn't just go and ogle his own naked body in female form, even though Rimuru can be a little bit pervy at times, and that's because it looks too much like Shizu, of course. So I like that. I like that it actually gave a specific reason that won't happen, or that doesn't happen. And Rimuru realizes that they can taste now, so it's time for a feast. And while everybody else is out hunting and whatever else, he goes to visit Veldora's cave to test new skills, including Black Flame. Also, he tests out the mask, and Rimuru finds out that it suppresses what little aura's left that he can't suppress on his own, because he's already suppressing his aura, so that it doesn't do what it did way back when he first met the goblins, but this can suppress it even more to make it seem like he's just an ordinary powerless human, pretty much. So he gets the word of Ogres versus Gobta and Ranga and Rieger, and we kind of see that, which is cool. There are 6 Ogres, and 5 of them I do totally remember. 1 I don't remember from the opening and ending, so either I've not been paying enough attention or that one's not that important. But then again, we don't really see in the opening and ending very much of like Kaijin or Rieger, or a lot of these other characters that have kind of played a decently large role, the adventurers, the humans, that have kind of played a decently large role in the day-to-day of the story itself. So it could be just one of those things where when Rimuru goes off to do what he's going to do, fight his next arc villain, or go and find this person for Shizu or whatever, when he goes off, that one's going to stay behind with the village or something to protect it. And that could be the reason they're not given such a prominent role. Or they could just be killed off, which would suck, but I mean, it could happen. This series does do that. Yeah, apparently we learn from their dialogue that the mask is related to the destruction of their home. And then Rimuru with the fighting. Probably the reason this is my favorite episode so far, the fighting looked really good. I loved it. Rimuru being completely OP. We learned that the orcs are the ones that did it, so of course somebody in a mask was the one ordering the orcs around, which is a low blow by ogre standards. I also like how Rimuru even notes they don't look like your traditional ogre. He doesn't say that they look more like the Japanese oni in anime and manga. But yeah, he notes that they're not like what you typically think of as ogres. So he shows off the black flame and the lightning to try to get them to just back off so they can talk. So I love that, and I do want to mention I love the ogre designs, but I can talk more about that at the end once I'm done with the recap-ish part. But yeah, everything just works out. Everything works out fine. And at the end, we learn they don't have names, so of course we know that Rimuru needs to name them, and I guess that's going to be the explanation of how their skin goes from like red and purple and stuff to just the, I don't know, anime skin tone. So yeah, he needs to give them names, and yeah, that's it. I love the new characters, and I thought this was a really good introduction episode, because just from a short little bit of time, we learned a lot about the characters. Also, I like all their designs. There's the big guy. We didn't learn much about him. He isn't really much in the opening or ending, so like I said, could get killed off, could stay behind at the village, who knows. We have the princess, who is cute, and we learn from... I like the horns and the markings under her eyes, but we learn from her kind of, and I guess her color scheme's really cool too. But the general thing we learn about her is that compared to her brother, at least, she's more willing to hear people out and listen to people. She's willing to think things through more, and she has that magic. She has a few different spells, I believe, that we saw. In addition to that, we have sort of the edgy Sasuke-ish looking guy. So we have, again, just a very basic little bit of knowledge with him, not much. And the same goes for the big, busty, really cute girl. We also don't really learn too much about her. Not as much as the siblings or the old man. The old man, though, his design, of course, is really cool. And we learned that, of course, he is experienced. He has sort of the old man experienced vibe going on. But in addition to that he is loyal to a fault to the prince, to the future leader of the Ogres. And one thing with him, though, is his voice is badass. His voice is almost, I would say, too badass. That is like a final villain, a big bad voice. Like, his voice is almost too badass. That's how cool it is. And then there's the red-haired guy who we see in the opening and ending plays a pretty key role, and I think is going to be a close ally to Rimuru. He's really cool. He uses flames and stuff. So yeah, not much to say, and we learn a bit about his character again just through his actions and dialogues, that he's very formal, willing to bow down and apologize and all that, and in addition to all of that, he's a bit more on the hot-headed side, maybe because of the whole traditional formal sense that somebody wronged his people, so he has to go get revenge for it. He's kind of more straight-laced and hot-headed at the same time. So we learn a bit about the characters just through their introduction, which I really liked. And like I said, I love the designs. The one purple hair girl is really, really cute. The princess is cute, and I love the designs under her eyes and stuff. I think that's really, really cool. I really like the Sasuke-looking design. Like I said, he doesn't look a thing like Sasuke, really, but anytime you have the generic emo character, that's kind of what you throw them as... kind of what you throw the comparison to. So it is kind of a generic emo design, but it's still cool. The old man's design I think is really awesome, because it's always good to see cool old people in anime, I guess, that aren't generic. Cool old people that aren't generic. And of course the main red hair guy looks really, really awesome. And honestly, I kind of don't want them to turn anime skin toned and everything. I like the more kind of red-skinned, bestial-looking, like, ogres, you know? So I kind of hope they would stay like that. Also, this makes me realize that the blacked-out thing controlling the snakes in the opening is probably the Orc Disaster. I just finally noticed that. So, we only see one, in the opening and ending and stuff, we only see one lizard man, and we know that, supposedly, the ogres, the orcs, and the lizard men were at war. So we have like 6 ogres left, and I think from what they said, we can gather that at least from their group, their tribe, their village, whatever, they're the only 6 left. I think everybody else was killed off, and that's what's going to bring them into joining Rimuru's little village. So if there's only 6 of them left, is there maybe going to only be 1 lizard man left by the time that they join, and that's why there's only 1 in the opening and stuff? Or is that just going to be the leader, the one that makes friends with Rimuru or whatever? And in addition to that, this kind of sets up the ogres as the bad guys, the ogres and the people controlling them. And for the people controlling them, I would actually say, trying to put 2 and 2 together, I didn't take a close look at the designs, but I don't really think I need to take a super close look at the designs. We see 2 groups of humans, at least I think it's 2 groups of humans in the opening. I think one group of humans is going to be like maybe not the demon lords in general, because we're probably not going to get introduced to all of them at once. They probably don't all work together, but maybe a demon lord like the one that was the one that Shizu was looking for. So maybe him and his allies or servants or whatever is that one group, and the other group I think is actually Shizu's students that she taught, and they're all grown up now, and that's going to be not really a reveal because it's not really that surprising, but since it's been a while since she left them, I guess, does that mean, because we know that one of them is the head of the guild, so I guess that means, are the rest of them like kind of subheads of the guild? Are they all very important in the guild? But I would say that maybe they're going to be her students, and maybe that's why they have a similar mask, is because they're students of hers. And maybe one of her students is not so nice a person, and that's why they're controlling the orcs and stuff. Or maybe they have their own reasons, who knows. So yeah, I feel like this gives us a clearer picture of perhaps how the antagonist role is going to go, and it's going to kind of be the orcs as the sort of mini antagonist that you have to beat before you get to the guys controlling them. So yeah, I guess that's it. The fight scenes are possibly the coolest so far, and as a score I'd give it 9.25 ogres out of 10 because I really, really enjoyed it. Now just to briefly talk about comments right before I get done with this. So if a bunch of your comments or anything disappear for the episodes previous to this, I'm behind on comments just in general where I haven't had time to get to all of them yet. But I'll probably go through and delete all the ones that are spoilery because I don't want anybody coming onto my videos and getting spoiled, even though I personally am kind of on the verge of just giving up on comments for this series. I don't want anybody else to get spoiled, so even if I might not answer comments on the series anymore, which is something I really don't want to do since answering comments is kind of a huge part of the channel, or I make it a huge part of the channel. I just the comments on this series are a problem that I've never had with any series before, where I might get one or two comments that are doing something dumb or being spoilery, and I'm usually really, really lax. I never delete comments except for spoilers and stuff. So that's kind of the one big exception. But with this, it's nearly every comment, it feels like, is somebody well, I mean, don't you know that this person is going to do this in a few episodes, or that this person is this thing not stated in the series, or that this thing that hasn't been stated yet is going to happen? And it's I'm watching the show. Of course I don't know what's going to happen. Of course I don't know this thing that's going to come out 2 weeks in the future because I don't live 2 weeks in the future. So again, it just seems very, very stupid. I just don't understand it. I really find it difficult to understand. I'm really happy for how excited people are for the series and how well it's done on the channel, but the comments have honestly been a mess. I just really don't understand what makes people think how does he not know this thing that happens in the future? I honestly don't get it. So yeah, I'll probably go through and delete a bunch of comments. I don't know if I'm going to give up on answering them. I really don't want to. I don't want to delete any. I don't want to give up on them. But the comments for this series have just been a mess, just an absolute mess. So I just don't know what to do about them. So yeah, to end on kind of a bummer note, I'm sorry about that, but if you did like the video, and comment down there to, again, like I always say, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this episode or what you thought of my thoughts on it, and we can discuss a bunch of stuff. It's just, I just don't understand the spoilers. Again, I've not had that for any other series where every comment nearly is just spoilers. So, I just don't get it at all. What the difference is with this series. But, yeah, comment, subscribe for more. Tensei Shitara, Slime, Datta, and much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us about this series or anything else, then yeah, just ask and I'll give you a link to the Discord server. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.